I want to start with Jeff Johnson.
Okay.
All right. Jeff, you said in your statement to us that, businesses are far too cozy with City Hall. Yet, on the other hand, it's pretty clear that every city needs tax businesses. Every city needs businesses. So I'm just kind of curious, what would be your, how would you balance those two off? I mean, the fact that you need businesses, and yet you're afraid that City Hall might be too close to it. And I'm going to ask.
Well, let me first apologize if you think I meant all businesses, because if you see my platform and if you hear me speaking on the stump, I am focused on neighborhood businesses. I think more jobs are created in neighborhoods. In fact, I am pushing the expansion and focus on investing in neighborhood businesses. The ability for us in the manufacturing industry as well as retail. Downtown is not going to give us the job levels that we need. When I speak about, I speak about the corporate business interests that have come to City Hall repeatedly to get public subsidies for their projects, whether it is the Cavs organizations for Q Arena or whether it is the Browns for the scoreboard. I am definitely only talking about those larger affluent businesses, but the neighborhood businesses is what the partnership is about. So that's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on doing what's necessary as they tell me, the manufacturing companies in my ward tell me, for example, I have openings. I have machinist jobs, I have these openings, but I have people who are unemployed, but I have to be the bridge as mayor, to bridge the two needs. So I'm absolutely a pro-business from the standpoint of small business, minority business, those developments. That's what I mean.
Tony, I'm just kind of curious about you as well. I mean, dealing with businesses, I understand you're a small business owner, obviously. But if you're mayor, how are you going to treat bigger businesses?
I think it's interesting that a lot of other candidates talk about downtown versus the neighborhoods. Downtown is a neighborhood, and it also generates the majority of the revenue here. So for us to not focus on those things, and for us to not focus on bettering our downtown, our neighborhoods do suffer. The problem for me is not small business in the neighborhoods. It's not about corporate business downtown. It's about the fact that our workforce is not trained and equipped to actually work the jobs that are provided for them. So let's say we recruit a company to go into Glenville, for example. Who's going to work the jobs if they're not trained? If they've got literacy issues, if they don't have a high school diploma, nobody's going to employ them. I want to focus on adult education so that those people in that workforce is actually trained so they can actually work the jobs that we bring in.
DYRONE?
I kind of agree with both. You still do need corporate business, but these tax abatements are killing the city. We have to literally subsidize their operations inside our city. We do need to have a connection with small business along with corporate business, but we have to get paid for that as well. Many of the small businesses make up the crux of our economy anywhere you go. So it is imperative that we focus on minority business. And it's also imperative that we keep money coming in from downtown. We need more investment in the outer communities, that's apparent. And we do have a brain drain here, I think. We do need to focus on educating our future from a lower point of view. Our kids are very important to educate the future workers of America. So it's imperative that we do get the training that we need for our population and simultaneously work on building minority-owned businesses. That's important.
Bill?
Businesses exist for profit. You can't blame them for asking. You can't blame them for subsidies. You can't blame the folks who hand them out. If it's not balanced and makes sense, then maybe we shouldn't be doing it. We're seeing kind of a revolt against that in the neighborhoods and in the constituency as we speak. I think your paper quoted 13,000 folks who in fact are valid voters in the city of Cleveland who said no to the $88 million subsidy. So for me, it's what you do and how you do it, because we've done these big deals before, Gateway, Brown Stadium. We've done those things before, and we never had the kind of pushback that we've had this time. So again, I think you have to focus on Cleveland as a whole. 56,000 people work in the University Circle area, at the University Hospital and so forth. Downtown, just as many or more. So those are our engines, and you have to keep them running. Yes, neighborhoods are going to have to struggle and push, and I'm in favor of that. As a matter of fact, I've done some of that myself. Thank you for doing that.
Frank, you've been accused of being too cozy with businesses. What's your philosophy about that?
Well, businesses are the ones who create jobs, and a business is appropriate depending on the geographical area and what they do. You have corporations downtown, you have retail, commercial businesses out in neighborhoods on commercial strips that still exist. The opportunity for investing and creating advanced manufacturing, clean manufacturing, light manufacturing, coupled with advanced technology exists in the vacant land on predominantly on the east side of the city of Cleveland. So I'm cozy with creating jobs. I'm cozy with moving the city forward. I'm cozy with creating a tax base that delivers service to the people of the city of Cleveland. That's what I'm cozy with.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, still didn't get your name.
Robert Kylo.
Sorry, Robert.
That's fine.
Robert, same question basically.
Well, I think we need to change the narrative. There's too much against and pitting factions against one another. I think we need to have a pro-growth agenda. I've got nearly 20 years of experience working with high-level business leaders and philanthropists, and they're really looking for a vision for this city that will attract growth back to the city. We've lost tens of thousands of jobs at all levels over the last 10 to 15 years. That's unacceptable. And we need to be able to cast a vision for this city that attracts revenue, both public and private, in big ways. Cleveland has a lot of assets and amenities that it could clearly communicate. I believe it needs a leader that can articulate that in a way that excites business growth. Vocational excellence is important as well. We can't have all our kids going to college, so we need to make sure that the vocational opportunities are there. So long story short, we need a vision that can attract resources instead of pitting downtown versus the neighborhoods. There's about 385,000 citizens of this city, and all of those citizens need to be served equally with excellence. In a Kylo administration, you can be assured we will be casting a vision with high-level business experience that will attract businesses back to the city.
Robert, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Zach?
First of all, thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it very much. For me, it's a priority. It's not us against them. It's not big business versus small business. It's the priority of this administration that says that we can do all these things doing the RNC. We can build a hotel. We can do $50 million in Public Square. But when I walk down the streets of Larchmere and a lady says, I've been trying to do storefront renovation for a year, that's the problem. The problem is the priorities. You know, if that lady is able to do storefront renovation like we did storefront renovation on Kinsman Road, it changes the facade of her building, which brings more people in. So it's the businesses aren't the enemy, it's government. It's the city hall right now that is the enemy. The regulations and the red tape to do things uptown compared to downtown. If we can build a hotel and we can do Public Square and we can pave every street downtown for an RNC for people to live in Wisconsin and Wichita, why can't we get this small business on Larchmere, this storefront renovation in a year?
Thank you very much. Brandon?
Yes, you know, again, it's about priorities, about prioritization. I'm not against bringing big business to the city. In fact, that's what we need. We also do need to support the small businesses. I've got a pretty comprehensive plan on how to attract the tech industry to this city, as well as the green energy trades. We have a lot of empty buildings that we could be producing things out of. You know, the biggest problem for me in understanding, you know, who we're beholden to is when we start to give the handouts to a degree of the $88+ million. The Q renovation is a great example of that. You know, we can't be supporting the big businesses that don't share Cleveland's interest, and I do not believe that they share our interest. When you look at the details of that plan and outlining who they're going to hire, or you know, where this money is going to go, or how they're going to help out, there's no clarity to it. It just seems and feels and looks like a deal that's one way. We have to have two-way streets when it comes to big business relationships. Another thing that will be discussed in detail tonight with the TIF and Bob Stark. Here's another idea that we have to incentivize Bob Stark and Stark Enterprises to build a skyscraper here, when in fact we're taking that money from the Cleveland Public Schools, or could be taking money from the Cleveland Public Schools. So I don't think it's necessarily the idea of big business is bad business. It's, you know, what business are we incentivizing, and to what extent, and do they share Cleveland's interests?
Okay. Brandon, you're about the second person here who is,
Can I ask for it? I'm using my, there's something to say. This is the heart of what I run, why I'm running. People quickly say that I'm anti-downtown. But when I advocate for neighborhoods, no one is accusing the folks who keep telling me downtown is what defines our greatness as anti-neighborhood. It is essential that City Hall shift to prioritizing the neighborhoods. I mean, your series of Greater Cleveland points to the poverty level. I'm saying to you simply after 12 years, what has happened? And what has happened is that we have more crime, we have more violence, we have poverty that still is too much ingrained in our neighborhoods, within our neighborhoods. Downtown is a neighborhood, the residential, I support totally what's going on downtown. But when they go in on one side, they're leaving on the other side. Even though the people are leaving has been reduced, they're still leaving. Columbus is expanding, we're losing population. It is not because we have a new Hilton or we have a championship team. We have to focus in on prioritizing the neighborhoods. Not at the expense of downtown, just don't give us, I'm giving the money to the people who gave us the money. Thank you, I'm out.